So you're here to learn how you guys can use miners, both Mass Miner and Queen Walk Mass Miner at Town Hall 11. Well, this guide has definitely got you covered. So in terms of this, what are a few things that you guys really need to understand with this attack? Well, specifically, you're going to be looking to try and get the enemy CC and also the Eagle. This is what's really important. With a Queen Walk, what you really want to try and do is have her clear up one side of the base. This will then offer you to set the funnel there. You can then set the other side of the funnel with the king. But the idea is to realistically funnel this out, allowing the miners and the Grand Warden easy pathing as you go through. You notice from what I've already illustrated from here, that's pretty easy pathing for this base. I mean, it's almost just like an L shape right here. That's it. That's all that it is on the base. So what you really want to consider is, again, using either the Stone Slammer or the Wall Wrecker. It's really up to you. We're going to see an example of the Wall Wrecker being used in a miner attack. But in terms of miners, why do they work on different bases? Well, there's a lot of controlled DPS areas. Specifically, Wizard Towers being sort of somewhat close together, Expos being in like an Expo farm, Tesla farms, just no concentration of DPS, and that is what you're really looking for. So this is almost like an ideal base here. There's not too many areas of DPS where you have to heal over. That's the idea. You want to be able to find bases where you can get easy pathing thanks to the Stone Slammer / Wall Wrecker and also the Queen Walk, and then also from the funnel that your king does, and also where those heal spots could be. And also you're using the Grand Warden's ability, so that almost acts as a fourth heal spell, even though it's not really a heal spell. So that's just really something to keep in mind. But again, you want to try and make sure that you can get that Eagle down. That's really important with this attack strategy, that you get rid of it. Now, you may say that this is definitely just a spam attack, and of course it is. But with the Queen Walk, it does definitely become a little bit more of a, hey, can I get more value from this? And that's really going to be up to you. The P.E.K.K.A here being used is specifically going to be used in order to set the funnel. And again, it's a great way of setting the funnel. It's a perfect funnel troop at Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11. It can even be used at Town Hall 9 if you want, but definitely, P.E.K.K.As are a very underrated troop when it comes down to funneling. I would highly encourage you guys maybe take one P.E.K.K.A at least with either your miners or maybe even your different attacks. So it's really going to be up to you, but in terms of this, you really want to try and take a look at the base, the army composition, and see if you really want to bring it. Now, in terms of this base design here, we notice that we can get to that Eagle very, very easily, especially thanks to the Stone Slammer opening it up for us, allowing the Queen to get rid of that Eagle fairly easy, and we don't have to deal with the Eagle as the miners go through. This is the idea. Now, what if you are not using a Queen Walk? Well, we'll definitely talk about that a little bit later on, exactly how to deal with the Eagle in terms of where everything is. Now, as your miners go through, you see the perfect pathing. Grand Warden's ability should be popped, as you're starting to enter into the base. Try to protect as many miners as possible. Act as a fourth heal spell with it. But then you just want to kind of send in your heal spells over like hogs. Just remember, miners target anything. So that means that because of this, you are going to have to actively use your heal spells in areas where there is a large group and where those miners are going to be heading. So you got to also think about the sort of pathing of the miners, how many of the miners are going where, and also you really want to look at is how many miners are still alive in a certain area. That is what you really want to take a look at when you're using miners, so that then you're never always in a disadvantage in terms of placing your heal spells. think of it like hogs. You want to use your heal spells over them, and then if you're bringing in rage, you're going to be using them with the queen walk, maybe even using them with the miners, but it's really up to you. But usually you're going to use those rage spells with the queen walk so that then you could get a lot of value there to keep that queen alive. So let's go ahead and take a look at some mass miner and maybe even possibly put back in some queen walk mass miner into this. We see on this base design here, and if we also take a look at the army composition, we notice that this is pure mass miner. So what makes pure mass miner, or what makes a base weak to queen walk miners? So from the last replay we saw, there was obviously a baby dragon, archers, ice golem within the CC. Alright, so that's something to sort of think about. That was a damage CC. And what you're going to see here is a tank CC. What the difference here is, Queen Walk Mass Miner specifically urges you to get that CC down. Here, you don't have to, but you do also want to try and take out, the archers or the loon that's in there. If you know that there's a loon, then it might be better to bring a poison than a freeze. But if you see that there isn't a loon, then you probably can use a freeze if you want. It's really up to you in terms of this. But again, just like with anything, you want to set the funnel. So you're going to be specifically using the Sui hero, the king and queen on one side, and then just using a few units, like the archers, in order to pick off things such as these elixir and the barracks. Why is that? Well, if we take a look at the range of the archer tower and even the mortar, they are definitely nowhere near where those archers are going to be, offering free percentage. Now, another thing is, you don't want the town hall to be your last building, so you can actually bring in the baby dragon as a way of getting rid of that town hall and getting the first star. So that is just really one way of sort of doing this attack and sort of really understanding this attack and doing well with it. And like I said before, maybe you want to try and get to the eagle early. Well, in this example, you don't have to. And why? The reason why, you're bringing more miners than you would with a queen walk mass miner. So that's sort of the idea that you guys have to think about. Remember that you always want to try and prepare yourself for areas of more concentrated DPS, whether this be expos sort of being near each other, sort of like in this area. So it's really going to be up to you. We also see, though, a stone slammer a wall wrecker is being used. The wall wrecker is going to be acting as a tank for the miners as they work into the base. The main reason why the wall wrecker was chosen here was because the entry point of this was opposite of the town hall, making it fairly easy to use that and actually send in more miners and even a Valkyrie from that wall wrecker to enter into the base along with the rest of the miners. That's sort of the idea when you guys are using this attack. So again, if we consider this and we take a look at it, baby dragon on the town hall, getting rid of it and getting our first star fairly easy, and then also having the archers there in order to pick off buildings, that's what's really important. You really want to try and make sure they can get rid of those troll huts, because you never know if you get a time fail from that. So archers are never always a bad option. So you can also see, again, using the stones or the wall wrecker here in order to get some sort of value. Valkyrie's also being used in order to get some sort of value as well. Having the Sui hero on either side, making sure that the miners go in, that's really important. We take a look at it from here. We notice that the queen has allowed access for the miners to have easy pathing going through. It may be wide, but here's the thing. You've got a lot of miners going in. So that's what's really important. Another thing is using that Grand Warden's ability really to protect those miners as they start to move into the core of the base, since you are going to be dealing with Eagle Fire and also the Multi-Infernos. And remember, you may even want to use a Rage spell with this. Rage is a very good option with them, so it's definitely not a terrible option to use with your miners. And I had it on ×2 there by accident, but obviously you guys could still tell the Rage was being used specifically to try and help the miners as they get through the base, making sure that they do not stall on any storages or whatnot. But then the heal spells again being used in order to protect them. Grand Warden's ability to protect them as they drive into the core. And just in general, having a lot more miners will really help you get through these bases. So let's go ahead and take a look at one final example where we're taking a look at another Queen Walk Mass Miner. Now, this replay is obviously a little bit different here. We see the jump being used instead of the Stone Slammer. The Stone Slammer is actually going to be used on the back end of the base. So we can really take that into account. It's definitely not a bad option, but again, it is definitely a more viable one. Now, why is a jump being used here? Well, we really want to try and funnel this side out. Not super good to use the Stone Slammer on that side, even though we could, it's not really that much worth it. So instead, I think a better opportunity is to use the jump spell. It offers us access to getting rid of this, and it also allows us access to get to that enemy CC, which is obviously a damage CC. That's the reason why a Queen Walk Mass Miner is being used. Now, once we've gotten that side cleared out, we can also funnel out here, and now we have access to the rest of the base going in like this. That is what's really important. Making sure that you have a solid funnel set for your miners as they move through. This now allows you to get through the base fairly quickly, getting rid of the eagle if possible, but then also just hammering through. Now, this is going to be a good example of not having to use your Grand Warden ability early. Even though that area really looks deadly, this area right here, it definitely does. However, we got to remember that we have 3 heal spells and 2 rage spells. We can use the rage with the queen, or we can use it with the miners as they move through. Another thing that we got to keep in mind is the storages within the base. That is definitely going to slow down troops. But what's lucky enough is that we will have our queen charge going into the base and also taking those out, meaning that we are just going to have to deal with defenses and also, maybe a few other storages here and there. But that's where a good chunk of the storages are, which are specifically right here. We won't have to deal with them since the Queen Walk is going in that direction, and we'll be able to take that out for us. So you guys can see realistically from this base, it's definitely a little bit more awkward, more spaced out than the others. However, this still gives you guys a good opportunity to learn this. We take a look at it from here, and we notice the bowler bounce is being used. Why, you may ask? It's a great way to set a funnel. You can see that the bowler bounce is immensely strong. I highly encourage that you guys really try it. It is a great method to actually funnel your queen into the base. It's a great way of starting that funnel, along with some wizards here and there, and having your queen as well. So in terms of this, really making sure that you can get as much value as possible. This includes that enemy CC and maybe even a multi-inferno. But just remember, your main job here is to carve a path for your miners. This gives you access now to being able to use your miners and go straight through that part of the base. That's what's really important with this. You really want to try and make sure that you get as much value as possible with your queen walk as you move into the base. You could say that this is a queen charge. Again, you can really say that it's a queen charge. But, just here and there, sometimes you may be walking on the outside, and sometimes you may be charging into the base like you see here. So what's really important is that you really want to try and make sure to get as much value as possible with that queen walk, so that then as your queen, sort of starts to move through the base, you really want to try and make sure that you use your miners, making sure that they actually create that pathing, or, you have that pathing all set for them from the queen and king. Then you can use a back-end stone slammer if you want. That's a great way of being able to get through different bases. Remember that the tornado trap does not affect miners. I believe it may hurt them, but other than that, it really doesn't do all too much. But you can see This base is definitely a total rip. There's not that much left in this base in order for it to really be a nuisance. So this is definitely something, as far as I would say, is a really great strategy to learn here at Town Hall 11. This attack is really going to help you guys. Hopefully this video sort of helped you guys, and let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see another video of miners, not just at 10, but at Town Hall 11 and maybe even at Town Hall 12 as well. Let me know in the comments below, and also let me know in the comments if you guys enjoyed this. I really appreciate that. Also, if you guys want to go ahead and join the Only the Brave family, I'll be leaving a link down in the description below to join their Discord server. Also, feel free to join my community Discord and follow me on Twitter as well. I will be leaving a link down to those in the description below. With that being said, that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.